Hi, I'm Jer Langhans, and welcome to my speakeasy. So 20 years ago, I started in the recruiting industry, and I've had the pleasure of working for great companies like Microsoft, as well as running employment branding at Starbucks and Expedia. Around 7 years ago, we started Paired Sourcing, and as the founder of that company, I was able to develop a sourcing sprint. It's an agile methodology, and we leverage speEZ's outbound recruiting platform to go out and identify quality candidates for our hiring managers. Let's go over to my office and I'll show you some more. All right, here we are back in my office, and we're gonna go over a sourcing sprint. What that is research and outreach. Engagement, proactive outbound engagements, the most important thing as a sourcer today. And I'm going to show you how I do a sourcing sprint from research all the way through to the email campaign. All right, so let's talk about a sourcing sprint. And the very first thing once you log into speEZ is you're going to want to go, obviously, to the sourcing tab. And of course, 800 million plus in the entire candidate pool. So how are we going to boil that ocean down to the 300 or 400 that we might need? Most of our sourcing sprints, we tell our customers, our hiring managers, that we like to get around 200 or more. So 200 is kind of a minimum amount that we think are qualified, that could be interested. So in today's example, we're gonna source for a JavaScript engineer. So we're gonna put software engineer as the title. We're going to click on that. They could also be a software developer, so we'll go ahead and click on that. It's a remote job in the United States, so we'll just add that as the location. And one of the most important pieces of the sourcing part of a sprint in speEZ is really to think through what are the mandatory skills. We know JavaScript already is going to be one of the mandatory skills. But another skill that's important is the framework that they'll be using. And you can see we've already taken 800 million down to 500,000. Obviously, it's still way too broad to start, but we know React is going to be super important. And actually, in this scenario, it's going to be React Native. So that already brought us down to 32,000. The other important things that I like to do is use years of experience. This is senior roles, so it's 6 to 20 years as a software engineer is kind of the range that we're targeting. 14,647. And then we're going to move over into our tabs here and go into experience. Make sure that they've been at their current company for at least a year. We don't want to reach out to people that have only been in their job, at their current company for like 3 months. We want them to have been there at least a year. And then this one also is requiring at least a bachelor's in computer science. So we're going to add that in as well. And now our number's at 4,000. So pretty good number. I know that this customer cares deeply about pedigree. They went to Stanford, and their co-founder went to MIT. So I have built, and this is one of my big tips for everyone, I've built a list of top software US schools. And this top software US schools list is going to help us bring that 4,000 down to people that have just gone to specific schools. So now we're at 1,255, starting at 800 million, looking for people that currently are a software engineer, software developer, that have JavaScript and React Native, 6+ years of experience, went to a great school, got a computer science degree. It's still a little bit too many for us to go through, because we're going to want to look at every single one of these profiles. So we're going to add a little bit of keywords or Boolean down here, something super simple. We know we want React Native, but I think we would be okay with just React or React.js, or we could even just say native would be interesting, and then see what happens to our number. So that confirms with me that both the filter, the tag is working, as well as the keywords are working. And then we're going to get really crazy, and we're going to say, and SaaS or software as a service, because that's what the team does. Okay, so now that we've got our search results down to a reasonable number, 132 people we can look at, we're just going to go through and curate who's in and who's out. It's sort of like a Spotify playlist where you're just deciding who you like and who you don't like. And we'll look at them a lot closer later. But for now, we're just looking at title, company, the tags, just to make sure that they have the things that we want. My hiring manager said nobody from LinkedIn, so we know that. We're gonna hit not a fit. And once we get to about 5 or more that we think look good, and we're having a good hit rate, meaning we're mostly hitting good fit and we're not having to hit not a fit that much, then we can go over to pipeline, and you can see here how my pipeline's now at 8 people. And we'll come in here and we can either go straight to engagement, or as we do at paired sourcing, we pair up and a second person will go through and open their profile fully and just double check and making sure, you know, that they look good. So that one still looked good. This one, head of engineering, as of January 2020, they don't really want anybody that's been in management. They just want engineers. So we're gonna actually reject this person out here in the curation stage. This person still looks good. And you just click through them. Obviously we would do this for, you know, 50 to 100 people at a time, but we're just quickly going through and deciding that whether we like them or we don't like them. And when we're making that decision, we're not saying whether they could interview well or get the job. We're really just saying, are they worth an email outreach? Could they potentially have the right experience and skill set and pedigree in this scenario to be interesting enough to have a phone screen? And once you get to, you know, the ones that you like, then you're just selecting all, and then you can go ahead and engage them. I've got different templates in here for different positions. Let's assume it's this template here for the senior software engineer role. It's going to automatically put everyone in here that they have email address for, and people that you haven't contacted recently, because of course you wouldn't want to contact people that you might have just hit up for another position a couple weeks ago or something. I'm not going to send this just as we're demoing here, but then it's as simple as hitting review and send. 2 big tips. 1, I like to make sure I have a follow-up. As you can see here, it does the first touch right away, and then the follow-up a few days later. And my follow-up's just as simple as saying, you know, just ensuring you received my message below, let me know, thanks. Something simple like that. I like to embed maybe the bullets from the initial email. That way, you know, if the person didn't see it or didn't care to reply originally, having a follow-up typically increases my reply or response rate. So that's how I do that. And then one of the things I like is the tracking. So if we go into the messages tab into our outbox, we can kind of see, you know, open rate, you know, 69, 71, 74, 67, 79% open rate. You know, 3 people replied, 10 replied, 16 replied. It's just nice to have that tracking so you can kind of compare and contrast, as well as when you look at your sequences, and that's just your email campaigns, you can see like which ones perform the best. So if you're really big on response rate or the reply to percentage, you could just sort that and go, okay, what was I doing here where I got 43% response rate? That's pretty huge. 39 on this one, 36, 36, 32, but maybe that's not as important as open. Maybe you're just trying to get open rate. 100% open rate on 221 recipients. I don't know how that happened. 88% open rate, that's really high. Maybe you're doing links. I don't do links a lot, but you could sort by that as well. So really cool analytics to see how your engagement's going with your email sequences, and that'll help you check and adjust different wording, more than one follow-up, time of day that you might send it, different things like that. And that's really it. I mean, that was super fast, but that's everything from, you know, going from the sourcing tab to the email outreach, and kind of how you track some of those metrics. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you really got some good tips and tricks on how to do better research and outreach with the HireEZ platform. Visit hireez.com to learn more.